this video, we'll be talking about how having a morning routine completely changed my life, the different morning routines that I have done, and the one that I'm doing right now, and the importance of what you do first thing in the morning, and the importance of morning routines. And I'm very excited to make this video, a lot of interesting topics, and I think that it's going to be very valuable for you, especially if you're new to morning routines or you haven't tried one out yet. So let's get right into it. First, I want to tell you my story, how I got into morning routines. I remember when I was younger, I used to wake up at like 8 or 9. I had no plan at all for the morning, and I would just do what I would feel like doing. I would scroll on my phone or, go to the bathroom, start playing video games or watching some YouTube videos, sometimes do something productive to start my day off right, but most of the time I had absolutely no plan and I was just drifting along, doing whatever I felt like doing. And the first time I realized the power of waking up early was when we decided with our friends to go and watch the sunrise. Like, we just randomly decided, why not just watch the sunrise tomorrow? And we woke up quite early, I think it was around 5 or 6, and we met in the city and it was still dark outside, and we were walking, we went up this hill, and then there we waited for the sun to rise, and we waited, but we realized that it was just too cloudy. The sun was already up, but because of the clouds we couldn't see the sun. It was very funny. And then we went back to the city and sat in a cafe, drank some probably coffee or something. And at that time, I realized that I looked at my watch and I thought to myself, this is the time when I usually wake up. This is when I start my day. But because I woke up earlier, because I already got some exercise, I had some fun with my friends, and all this before the time when I would usually wake up. So that's when I realized the power of waking up early. But after that, I would still go back to, waking up at around 8 or 9. And when I truly started having a morning routine and doing it every single day was when I read the book, The 5 a.m. Club by Robin Sharma, which is a great book. I highly recommend it, I read it around a year ago. All this happened around a year ago when I got this book for Christmas and I read it and I fell in love with it. I fell in love with the idea of having a morning routine, waking up early and doing all this stuff. I got very motivated and I started doing it. I started waking up at 5 a.m. and this was around 1 year ago. Around 1 year ago, let's say, that I started doing this, And back then, I think the first morning routine that I had was something like, I used to wake up and then first thing in the morning, I would go for a run or do some kind of exercise. And then come home, take a cold shower, and then after that, I think it was either journaling or meditation or breath work, something like that. And then I would read for like 1 hour, and that's it. And it was very fun. Like at that time, I felt so great. Like I can't even put it into words. The huge gap between how I felt when I didn't have a morning routine and when I started waking up early. It was such a huge difference. I felt so much better when I had a morning routine, when I woke up at 5 a.m. every single day, when I did those hard things. I felt great. It was amazing. It was like, wow, why did I not do this for all this time? It was such this huge realization for me, just how important it is what you do in the morning and just how good it is to have a morning routine. And ever since then, I always had a morning routine. Ever since then, I kept a morning routine and it's amazing. I really recommend it. And if you're interested, the morning routine that I'm doing right now is I wake up, I do some quick gratitude journaling, I do some exercise here in my room. Finally, I have some weights. You see, finally I got some weights so I can do some exercises here in my room. So I exercise, I take a cold shower, I do some breath work, I do some meditation, and then one thing which I added in my morning routine, which is probably the best thing that I added, is doing the hardest thing first. So after I've done all of these things, I either write scripts or record these videos. So I'm also doing this in the morning, you see. Because I realized, you see, that doing the hardest thing first thing in the morning, I'm so much more productive than other parts of the day. And the huge reason for why that is because in the morning I'm fasted. I don't have any food in my stomach. And when I'm fasted, like, I'm not sure, I can focus like 10 times better. When I'm not, digesting food, when I'm hungry. Like, I can focus so much better. You might be able to relate to this, when you're, after you eat something, you just want to lay down. I mean, it also depends what kind of food you eat. There are some healthy, like real food that you eat it and you feel great afterwards. But nowadays, there's just so many shit food out there. You really gotta watch out. I mean, if you're interested more about food, I made a whole video about it. You can check it out if you want to. But this is probably one of the best things that I put into my morning. One of the best things that I put into my morning routine. I mean, the thing that has helped me the most with being more productive and getting things done is this: doing the hard thing first in the morning, fasted. It's great. I highly recommend it. So this is how having a morning routine has completely changed my life. And I don't regret it at all. Like, it's such a great thing, and I recommend it to everyone. I really recommend it to you, like, really, it's super good. It's amazing. If you're watching this right now and you don't have a morning routine, or you're not consistent with your morning routine, I guarantee you, just try it for 1 or 2 weeks, and it will change the way that you look at morning routines, and it will change your life, I guarantee you. Just try it out, just give it a shot. You've got nothing to lose. I'm talking from experience. I was the same, I also was just waking up and doing whatever I felt like doing. I had no plan. I'm talking from experience. I was also like you. But you see, the moment I started doing a morning routine, when I started planning my morning, it completely changed my life. Probably one of the best decisions I've made, is to have a morning routine. So I really recommend you to try it out. Just give it a shot for a week, for 2 weeks. Because you see, if you start your morning right, you have a good day. If you have good days, you have a good week. If you have good weeks, you have a good month. If you have a good months, you have a good year. If you have good years, you have a good life. But you see, it all starts with having a good morning. If you change your morning, you change your whole life. You change your whole day. Like, I can't stress it enough. It's such a great thing. Because when you have no plan for the morning, as we said, you're just drifting along. You're just doing whatever you feel like doing, and you would just play video games or start scrolling first thing in the morning, which is awful for you. But you see, you might be thinking right now, okay, but I have school, I can't do all of these things in the morning. Just wake up earlier. I also have university, but I wake up at 5. And I exercise, I take a cold shower, and I do a breath work before going to university. I do all of those things. Just wake up early, and trust me, it feels so much better if you do something before school or before university or before work. You don't have to rush in there, and go there all groggy and you haven't slept enough. You feel refreshed, you feel great if you've done something productive before that. And you see, another thing that I want to mention is that the point is not when you wake up, but what you do after waking up. That's the point. Because it's so important what you do after you wake up. Such an important thing. And let me explain to you why it's so important. It has to do with your dopamine. You see, when we're talking about dopamine, we're talking about a part of the brain that is called the nucleus accumbens. And basically, this generates your motivation. And every time you do some kind of action, you see, that part of your brain releases dopamine. And when it releases dopamine, you get pleasure because of that. And because you got pleasure because of that, it reinforces that action. So basically, you do an action, you feel good because of it, you want to do it again. You get more motivated to do it. But the point is that whenever you wake up, you have a full tank of dopamine. And to do something, you need dopamine. Dopamine is not a bad guy. You don't want to get rid of dopamine. You don't want dopamine detox. You need dopamine to do something. And you see, when you start off, you have a full tank in the morning. And every time you do something, some kind of action, your brain releases some amount of dopamine. And you see, when you have a full tank, your brain can allow itself to release more dopamine, just in the same way when you have more money in the bank account, you can allow yourself to spend more money. So you release dopamine every time you do some kind of action. And your tank starts going down. You do another action, another action, another action, and the dopamine keeps releasing. And you get to a point when you have very small amount of dopamine. And you see, when you get to this point, you need something very hard, something very powerful to squeeze that last bit of dopamine out. I mean, just in the same way, when you have a lemon that you almost have squeezed all the juice out of that lemon, you need a very hard squeeze to squeeze the last juice out, to squeeze out the last drops of that lemon. You need a very high dopaminergic activity, or a very high dopamine activity that releases a bunch of dopamine to get that small amount of dopamine out. But you see, what happens if first thing in the morning, when you have a full tank of dopamine, you do some kind of action that is very dopaminergic, that is very high dopamine activity that releases a bunch of dopamine, like scrolling, video games, porn, drugs, whatever. What happens then? You see, you can think of it like, what happens when you have a fresh, full slice of lemon with all the juice in it, and you squeeze on it really hard? All the juice comes out. And just in the same way, when first in the morning, when you have a full dopamine tank, you do something that is a very high dopamine activity, you lose all of your dopamine. And what happens when you lose all your dopamine? You don't have any motivation to do anything. You don't have any motivation left. You see, you have probably experienced this. How do you feel after 4 hours of video games first thing in the morning? You don't want to do anything. But how do you feel after working for 4 hours first thing in the morning, or studying for 4 hours first thing in the morning, doing something productive for 4 hours first thing in the morning? How do you feel after that? You feel great. You feel motivated. You feel much better after that. You actually have motivation to do something else after that. But if you waste your morning, if you scroll first thing in the morning, if you play video games first thing in the morning, then you lose all your dopamine, your tank gets emptied, and you have no motivation to do anything after that, and you feel bad. So this is why it's such an important thing, what you do first thing in the morning. Now I want to mention some of the things that you could do in your morning routine, some of the habits, and I think that these ones are some of the best ones. First, it's cold showers. And man, cold showers are great. Yes, it's hard. Yes, it's very uncomfortable. But you feel amazing afterwards. It's such a good thing, man. I really recommend taking cold showers for everyone. Because it's not only amazing for your health, it's great for your health, but you also just feel good afterwards. You feel amazing. And you can also start small with cold showers. Just turn it all the way to the cold. Get in there, turn around for 5 seconds, bam, you get out, that's it. Start with 10 seconds of cold showers and that's it. And slowly make that progress, going from 10 seconds to 15 seconds and so on to 30 seconds, 45 seconds and on and on and on. I really recommend taking cold showers. And another habit is gratitude journaling. And you see, actually, I won't really go into all of these habits, in detail. You can find a bunch of videos on them, really, there's so many videos on them. And I also made videos about this. So another thing is gratitude journaling, waking up and writing some of the things down that you're grateful for. I'm grateful for this, I'm grateful for that. That's it. Another is a quick exercise, exercising in the morning. Also a great thing that you can do. Journaling in the morning, writing down your thoughts, whatever. It's a great thing, journaling. Another thing is just having some solitude, some silent time to yourself, to just reflect, to just think. That can also be great. And another one is having sunlight first in the morning. Getting sunlight into your eyes, which is such an important thing for your health, you see. Because a lot of time, for most of the day, we're inside. And sunlight doesn't really get through the windows that great. The windows block a lot of the sunlight. So getting sunlight first thing in the morning, a very great thing that you could do. And you can also spend time learning first thing in the morning, reading books, watching some kind of video, listening to some kind of audio book, whatever. You can also learn in the morning. That's also a great thing. And another great thing that I recommend, that I already mentioned in the video, is doing some deep work first thing in the morning. doing the hardest thing that you got to do and doing it faster. You can just try it out and trust me, you will double or triple your productivity. It's a great technique. And now, of course, if you don't sleep enough, this is not worth anything. If you don't get enough sleep, it doesn't matter what you do in your morning routine, because sleep is probably the most important thing for your health and for how you feel. If you don't sleep enough, everything in your life will become worse. I'm not joking. Sleep is that important. So make sure that you sleep enough. Make sure that you do something productive first thing in the morning so that you don't empty your dopamine tanks. So thank you for watching this video, and I really recommend you to try one of these morning routines out. It's a great thing. I highly recommend you to try it out. I guarantee you that it will change your life. It's great. You'll feel great afterwards. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for being here. If you have any questions, please leave a comment. And also, I'm doing free one-on-one calls. You can send me an email and we'll arrange a video call, and you can ask me any question that you want. So email in the description. Thank you for watching this video. Have a great day and goodbye.